Ladies and gentlemen, our groom is with us. Our bride has arrived and looks absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we are ready to begin. Paddy will play a beautiful tune to accompany Lindsay and her dad. Could I ask you all please now to stand for the arrival of our bride? And a warm welcome again to everyone on this very special afternoon. Because within the next half hour we will all be part of a very profound moment in Dima and Lindsay's lives. We will hear beautiful words of love and commitment spoken between them, and all bear witness to the solemn vows of marriage that they will make to one another. By the time that the hour strikes 5, they will have become Mr. and Mrs. And maybe, just maybe, a small celebration will be about to start. Of course, the last few months have seen many changes and anxieties in all our lives. Not least for Dima and Lindsay, who have kept a very watchful eye on whether this second planned date could go ahead for them, as all the events of the last 16 months have unfolded. But even though some aspects of wedding ceremonies may have changed for us just now, some things have remained the same and always will. For at the very heart of our ceremony, there is something that has always been at the heart of every marriage ceremony that there has ever been, going back down the centuries in Scotland. No matter where it has taken place, no matter the circumstances. And that is for two people to stand before their family and friends and an officiant such as myself and say, this is the person I love, the person who loves me. And we choose to share the rest of our lives with one another. Accept us into your lives as the husband and wife that we are about to become. And please be happy for us in the love and happiness that we have found together. It is a very profound moment in life, in all our lives, and a privilege for all of us today to be part of this moment for Dima and Lindsay. Of course, it will probably be of little surprise to you all that we have come on this day, for you will all have watched Dima and Lindsay over these past 6 years, seen how they gradually became closer and closer, seen how they gradually became a couple, seen them become a family. It will be no surprise to you that they should stand here today, barely 30 minutes away from becoming husband and wife. But just before that happens, I think we should maybe just take a wee glance over these past 6 years and remind ourselves of how it all started. And in a way, it could all have begun much earlier if only Dima had managed to speak to the stunningly attractive young woman he saw in a boiler suit when he was working for Roy Mackey next door to Delston in 2014. But we have to fast forward to 2015 for our couple to finally properly meet. And they met for the most unromantic of reasons, because Lindsay was at the time looking for a new lodger, as her good friend Tessa was moving out of Delston. And so by sheer chance, when Lindsay casually asked Roy Mackey if he knew of anyone who was looking for a place to stay, Roy had an instant reply, because Dima was again working back in Auchnagat and very open to taking digs nearer to his work. Dina very soon became Lindsay's new lodger. However, 4 weeks later, Dima moved out. Not that anything had gone wrong between him and Lindsay. On the contrary, they had got on very well in that short time, in a very easy, enjoyable friendship that had developed between the two of them. But Dima's work had been relocated back to Peterhead, so he moved back there to live. But the two of them kept in touch and continued to keep in touch after Dima had needed to return to Lithuania for a short time to sort out some problems with his passport. And when he returned back to the UK and to Peterhead, they decided it would be lovely to meet up for a meal, ostensibly as the good friends that they had certainly become by this time, but maybe as well because they both sensed that there might just be something more going on between them. And looking back, that meal out together at Borsellino's in Petercuta was very much like a first date. It had been such a good evening, where the conversation between them both had constantly flowed. And afterwards they kept on meeting up, maybe going for walks and then going out for a nice meal together afterwards. And then Dima had to go into hospital, unexpectedly. So when he was discharged, it seemed the most natural thing in the world for him to come to live at Delston as he recovered afterwards. And as you know, after Dima had fully recovered under Lindsay's care, he just never left. Because by that time, Dima and Lindsay both knew that they had, quite simply, fallen in love. And so followed months, leading to years as they built their life together at Delston. Years when you will all have seen how good life has been for them, how they have worked together as a team, and a hard-working team, to develop Delston. And how their life together, just the two of them, has become a family life with Roman and Greta at the very heart of it. But even so, none of us would be here today if there had not been a proposal. And there was, on the 12th of May, 2018. And it was the most romantic and beautiful of proposals too, made in Lithuania and at a place very special to Dima. Ever since Dima was about 7 years old, he had spent his summers at his grandmother's house at Sarasi. And the lake by the village with its island in the middle had always held a very special place in the fond memories he holds of his childhood. It was by far his very favourite place to be. Not surprisingly, one of the first places he wanted to show Lindsay the first time he took her to Lithuania to introduce her to his family was the lake and the island. So the 12th of May 2018 was the second time that Dima had taken Lindsay to Sarasi and the lake. This time with a very definite plan in mind. The two had spent a very peaceful, contented day by the lake. They had done a little fishing and then taken themselves over to the island by Pedalo. They had set a fire and cooked the fish they had caught earlier. They talked, as they always do. To both of them it seemed one of the most perfect memories of togetherness. And it became even more perfect, of course, because Dima then went down on one knee to tell Lindsay how he loved her more and more every day, amongst many other words of love, and would she marry him? And Lindsay's answer to Dima's question brings us all to ask another question. But how could Dima and Lindsay not marry? They are surely made for one another. These past years have shown that so clearly. They are a couple who understand each other so well. In some ways, they are like two peas in a pod. They share the same values, have the same dreams for their future, and both work equally hard to transform Delston into the place they want it to be for Roman and Greta as they grow up. But in other ways, they are quite opposite. Dima is very much one for getting things done, and quickly. When he has an idea, he just wants to go and immediately get down to carrying it out. Whereas Lindsay would much rather sit and think about things before she springs into action. Lindsay is perhaps more the organiser. Dima the one who needs to be organised. Evidence, if it was ever needed, that opposites do attract. But most importantly for Dima and Lindsay, after all these years, they are still the very best of friends, and will clearly continue to be so. And so this now brings us to the heart of our ceremony, the part where Dima and Lindsay will become the husband and wife to one another that they want to be, where they will make the vows and promises of marriage to one another and exchange rings. Dima and Lindsay will make the first of their vows within the ancient Scottish tradition of making promises over an oathing stone. It is a tradition that reaches back to a time before wedding rings could be forged from metal, but when it was just as important for couples entering marriage to have a deeply symbolic way to show their commitment to each other, to set their promises in stone, as the expression that we all so freely use now comes from. And indeed, a stone is very symbolic in itself. It's part of the earth, ancient in age, and a strong symbol of permanence, of strength, and of endurance. A strong symbol for the foundation of Dima and Lindsay's marriage. So, I think, Anne, could you take... Mum's taking a bouquet.
Oh, it's taking a
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, my fault.
Thank you. No, it's fine.
And Roman, could you go and get the oathing stone for you? Thank you very much. Dima and Lindsay, if you could face each other. That's lovely in the middle, that's lovely. Roman, if you could give that to your dad, please. Thank you very much. So, Dima, if you put the oathing stone in the palm of your right hand, and Lindsay, if you can place your right hand over the stone so that your two hands are enclosing it. Dima and Lindsay, above you are the stars, below you is earthen stone. As time passes, remember, like a star let your love be constant, like the earth let your love be firm. That the powers of the mind and of the heart guide you in your marriage. That the strength of your wills bind you together. That the power of love and desire make you happy. And the strength of your commitment make you inseparable. Possess one another, yet be understanding. Have patience with each other. For storms will come and they will go, able to fade in the light of your love. Be free in giving of affection and of warmth. Have no fear, and let not the ways or words of others give you unease. Your love is with you, now and always. I will now ask you to make your legal declarations in front of your family, friends, and witnesses. Dima, please repeat after me. I, Dmitry Kutenkov,
I, Dmitry Kutenkov,
in the presence of my family and friends,
in the presence of my family and friends,
accept you, Lindsay Elizabeth Mary Fisher,
accept you, Lindsay Elizabeth Mary Fisher,
in marriage,
to
be my lawfully wedded wife.
be my lawfully wedded wife.
Lindsay, please repeat after me. I, Lindsay Elizabeth Mary Fisher,
I, Lindsay Elizabeth Mary Fisher,
in the presence of my family and friends,
in the presence of my family and friends,
accept you, Dmitry Kutenkov,
accept you, Dmitry Kutenkov,
in marriage,
to
be my lawfully wedded husband.
be my lawfully wedded husband.
Dima and Lindsay, you have bound yourself together by these vows, and the bond is made by your love for one another. It is a bond that ties but does not bind, and one that is sealed by your love and by the love we all have for you as individuals and as a couple. May the bond between you never come undone, through the joys or sorrows that you may face together, and may you always walk through life hand in hand, mind with mind, and heart to heart. Roman, can I ask you to take the opening stone from your dad again and put it back on the table, please? Thank you very much indeed. And take your seat. Thank you. Dima and Lindsay, in just a moment you will place a wedding ring on the third finger of each other's left hand, the finger that folklore deemed to be the direct line to the heart. It will be a tangible and lasting symbol of your commitment to each other, signifying your unending love for one another. You will wear and keep these rings always, from this day forward, and as a constant reminder of the promises and vows that you make to one another this day. But before you do this, you will make your personal vows to one another. And these are vows that you have written yourselves, and which until today have I know remained secret from one another. So please face one another. And put it behind so I'm not going in front of you. Dima, if you could make your personal vows to Lindsay.
I remember the first time I saw you. I was at work next door and you were outside your house wearing a bowler suit. I liked you from the first sight. After a while I became a lodger. We were having a good time, having barbecues, making jokes, and enjoying our new friendship. Soon after I introduced my son to you. He was very nice, friendly, and caring. One day I was admitted to the hospital. I was very ill. I was weak. No one was there for me, but when you found out this, you were always with me every day after your work for long 5 weeks. You was the only person coming. I did very appreciate that. And I promise to you, if one day you will need me, I'll be there for you, holding your hand and keep telling that everything will be okay. Trust me please, the same way as you did to me, which was very heart-touching thing to do. I'll never forget your kindness and your looking after. Can you even imagine how important it was for me, for you doing this? Lindsay, I love you so much, and with every day my feeling becoming stronger and stronger. You're my special one. Time passed by, became the best friends. We still like go and do our activities and just enjoy ourselves doing what we like. On the 12th of May in 2018, we went to visit my grandmother in Lithuania and I proposed to you. I realized that you are that lady which I want to spend the whole life with. And you said yes. With our big love to each other, we became pregnant. During pregnancy, I noticed that our baby will have a wonderful and loving mother. I remember every single moment in the hospital and I'm very proud of you. Our daughter's birth was the nicest thing ever happened to us. She grows into a well-mannered and beautiful lady, same as you. I love you both. And after all nice and beautiful in our relationship, we becoming husband and wife, I do promise, Lindsay, to be that only person to look after you. Doesn't matter what happens, I will be there for you. And I promise to love you forever.
Thank you very much, Dima. Roman, could you go and get the rings, please? Dima, if you could take the ring that you were going to give to Lindsay. Just take that one ring. That's lovely. Roman, if you bring the rings and come and sit. Sit back down, that's lovely. Dima, please take Lindsay's left hand in your left hand. And place the ring on her finger as you repeat after me. Lindsay,
Lindsay,
as I give you this ring,
as I give you this ring,
I give to you everything that I am,
I give to you everything that I am,
and everything that I will ever be.
and everything that I ever be.
Who's that? Lindsay, please make your personal vows to
Dima, you are my best friend. I didn't know it when you stood at the door at Delston, shy to come in. I didn't know your feelings then either, that you had noticed me in my boiler suit across the yard. Our relationship has grown so naturally, and now I can't imagine life without you. You are my shoulder to lean on, a wonderful loving father to Greta and Roman, a man of grand plans and drive to stay strong no matter the circumstances. I can't promise that I'll ever get your jokes, but life will never get boring. You know me better than anyone, and although we do have our differences, we balance each other perfectly. And I promise to always love and respect that and accept you as you are. You are well known for your hard work, commitment and dedication, and have never failed to instill these values in our family, allowing us to grow together and reach our dreams and visions for the future. You make me so happy and excited to move into our next chapter of family life as a married couple. I promise to always be there for you and never stop growing and sharing all of life's triumphs, decisions and challenges. I vow to always be loyal and to be the one you can rely upon forever. I promise to always love you.
Roman, if you could come forward and bring it to Lindsay. Yes. Take your seat again. Thank you. Lindsay, please take Dima's left hand in your left hand and place the ring on his finger as you repeat after me. Dima,
Dima,
as I give you this ring,
as I give you this ring,
I give to you everything that I am,
I give to you everything that I am,
and everything that I will ever be.
and everything that I will ever be. There we go. It's done.
So, please now hold both hands in front of you. Thank you very much. Dima and Lindsay, as you hold hands now, having made your lasting vows to one another, I have some very important words to say to you and your guests and witnesses. As you have now both made a solemn and binding contract, and by virtue of these declarations made in my presence and in the presence of both your witnesses and guests, Dima and Lindsay, I have much pleasure in declaring you married and pronouncing you husband and wife. Please seal this moment with a kiss, and we will just make a little bit. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So we now have a very important legal matter to attend to, which is to sign the marriage schedule. And I know Paddy is going to be playing some beautiful piano music as we do so. I need 2 strong men. I can see David. Another strong man. Thank you very much. What I would like you to do is, we've got a table, the signing table at the back. If you could bring it so that it's in the front, so that we can all see the signing take place. That's lovely. If we could maybe put it face on, just so. That's
Would you like a chair?
yes, yes. So, please sit back and enjoy Paddy's Day. Our witnesses, please to come.
It's going to be a moment, isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, they have gone and done it. And I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Kutenkov. But as I said, we're not quite finished yet. In fact, we've got one very important thing to do. And that is to seal the marriage that you've all just witnessed within a tradition that reaches back into Lithuanian culture. For going back hundreds of years in Lithuania, it has been the custom for a bride and groom, after they've become married, to walk to a special bridge in their community and to secure a padlock engraved with their initials onto the bridge. leaving it there as a public and lasting symbol of their unity and the uniting of their two families. Dima and Lindsay will make no such journey today, but they will still enact this meaningful tradition. And with their very own bridge, as you will see, beautifully made. Dima and Lindsay, this act of securing your padlock with a key will be symbolic of everything that has been at the heart of your marriage ceremony today. It will signify both the opening of your two hearts to one another and the locking of your commitment that now binds them together. And we have a special duty for you. Could you please go and take the padlock and give it to Dima?
Scary.
So Dima and Lindsay, if you could now place the padlock together on the bridge and secure it to the lock. I think that just Dima and Lindsay know now that your commitment is locked forever, held strong by your love for one another. As the padlock holds firm through all the years ahead, so will you too hold firm through good times and bad, through sunshine and storms. May you keep this padlock always as a symbol of the vows you have made to one another this day, and a remembrance of the love you have declared. So, we have witnessed our bride and groom make their binding commitments to one another. We've heard them say some very beautiful and loving words to one another. We've seen them exchange wedding rings. What more is there to be done? It is surely now just about time to get the celebrations underway. Well, just one and very important thing. And that is for all of us to give Dima and Lindsay our very best heartfelt wishes for their future, which we do. May they never forget this day, the emotions they feel and the love they have declared. And we will send them on their way as the husband and wife that they have just become, with a poem that they have chosen to be part of our ceremony today, and which they will read themselves and to one another. It is called appropriately The Future by Emma South.
In my future, I see you and me, and a house and garden filled with trees.
I see dinner parties surrounded by friends and a vegetable patch we love to tend.
I see cozy nights in front of the fire and a four-poster bed for when we tire.
I see our kitchen, which will be the heart of the home, and a Victorian bath brimming with foam.
I see muddy wellies by the front door and the kids eating cookies and asking for more.
I see nights in the garden, camping under the stars, and shelves full of mismatching local gem jars.
I see family picnics outside with the dog and a little brown shed containing the logs.
I see us sat by the window watching the snow and reading the papers and learning to grow.
I see pictures of family in quirky frames and letters on the kids' doors spelling out their names.
I see laughter, pain, kisses and tears, and helping each other to confront our fears.
I see you as my friend and also my lover, your confidant and your children's mother.
I see a wonderful future for you and I, and it's clothed in love until we die.
That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, Mr. and Mrs. Kutenkov, please walk into this wonderful future now as you walk back down the aisle as husband and wife.